Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my amazing friend and co-host, Jonathan. How are you today, Jonathan?
I'm good. Can I be the middle S?
Sure. What do you want it to stand for?
Taking an S. It doesn't even matter. As long as I get an S, I'm fine.
Yeah, of course you get an S. You and JoJo are the 2 S's, baby.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. So how are you doing? How is this last week been for you with your Big
Um,
Brother Canada experience?
I have been. I'm trying to think of the S word. Splendid.
Mm.
The BB Can experience is something. That's another S.
Stupendous.
Yeah, it's
Stupid.
it's been kind of silly.
Shitty.
So it's like really, really interesting to. Here's the thing, and I'll preface this before we even get into the episode. Normally I can figure out what people are thinking, like whether it's ego speaking, whether they're playing too quick, too fast because they're just excited to be there, whether they're just like not good people. I mean, like you usually have like this kind of origin, story in my head as to why they're doing what they're doing. I don't understand what Kyle's doing. Like, I don't understand what's going on in there. I don't know what he's thinking. So I was really eager to see this episode because of everything that I've heard and seen thus far with his HOA train.
Did you get any spoilers or stuff like that? I didn't really tell you that much because I know you don't watch the feeds.
Yeah,
Um,
I knew
I
who won Veto because I listened to some, because that intrigued that I was like, I need to hear some recaps as to what's been happening on the live feeds at the very least. So just some brief, like here and there kind of.
who did you listen to?
I listened to like half of Taryn, and there was someone else too.
The recap on
Yeah.
or in the morning?
I think it was like the most recent or one of the most recent
Was he
recaps.
by himself? Okay, so if he was
Yeah,
up
he was
by
by himself.
himself,
Yeah.
okay, that was this morning. You should have listened to the one with me and him on Monday because
What was it? You, him, and
just me and him.
Melissa? Oh, oh, you.
Oh, that was on Tuesday night.
Okay.
Wait, what
I did
last week? That was last
a
week.
little bit of everything I've been doing. So I've just been trying to like kind of catch up, trying to figure out what am I missing? What's going on behind the scenes? What's happening?
So because I did the recap on
Yeah.
Monday, so this is the live feed update. I was watching the feeds all weekend because I needed to have a really good finger on the pulse as to what was going on. And, to do the live feed updates, you really kind of have to know what's going on just to be able to follow along and like keep up. So on Thursday, I originally thought, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be boring. Like boring with Kyle. Like he has such an easy week. Like he doesn't have to do anything. He's set up. He's in the Savage Seven. He's in the Retreat Alliance. He has the 4 bros. I'm like, there's like only a few people that he can choose from. Nobody seems to be threatened or worried about Betty. So make Betty your target. Send Betty out. Maybe put her up against Jess or something, and it's totally fine. Easy peasy week. And he's like, no, 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 I don't want to make it easy at all. I want to blow up all my alliances and pretend it's a good move when really all it has done has made everybody super like thinks he's super shady, thinks he's super bad at the game. And he's actually been ranked as the worst head of household reign in Big Brother Canada history.
Well, I mean, we do have a quote from Kyle this episode. I'll quote him. I want to be remembered, is
Yeah,
what he
you will
said.
be.
It's like, not for the
100%.
right reasons, but you will be remembered, Kyle. So I thought that was funny.
So
Little
we've been
shade.
trying to, like yourself, been trying to figure out what's going on in his head. And it seems as though he thinks about things too much, but he actually doesn't know the game well enough to be able to actually execute what's going on. So he wants to be a legendary player like Dan Giesling and Big Dr. Will, who they look like they're doing all these flashy moves, but there's really a lot of formation that's happening behind the scenes that he doesn't recognize because he's not a super fan. He's only been watching for the last year and probably doing the clip and highlight reel and be like, oh my God, like Dan's funeral is epic. But like there's a lot that went on behind the scenes to make these epic moves work. And so he just wants the flash and the glory, but he doesn't realize what it actually takes to
Yeah.
make these big moves and make them make sense.
Oh, it's absolutely. It's like you don't set out to be a hero in life or to be an MVP of something. You set out to do your best and do what's right, and then those things come to you because of those actions.
You play
And
well.
he just doesn't realize that, you know.
He
Um,
thinks a big move is playing well.
well, I mean, there's a lot of examples of it, which we'll talk about in this episode. There were a few where I'm like, "Why are you? What's going? What are you?" So there's a lot of
This
that.
is not even the half of it. Honestly, when I was nauseous watching the feeds over the weekend because they did not show even the half of the flip-flopping back and forth and going to this person and saying it to this person and then guaranteeing this vote and guaranteeing votes for that and then changing the person that he's voting for and then telling the nominee that he's voting for this, that this is the person that's going to be up next to him. Like he changed it so many times and still went around and got votes for each person that he was changing the vote to. People like were dragging him behind the scenes. Like everybody like, what's wrong with this guy? What is he doing? Why is he doing this? Blowing up everything. Like it's been so chaotic that this episode has not done it just justice. I thought the Monday's episode was decent with like showing what had been going on, but that was pretty much up until like Friday. So what you've seen kind of on this is up until kind of Monday, some Sunday, but like not at all representing the flip-flopping, the hell that I went through taking notes for one day.
Yeah, I'm just like, aren't you exhausted? Like Tim, like, isn't he just tiring
He
himself out?
is.
I don't know how you think like that. Like, he doesn't seem manic, but just the amount of what's happening is just, it's really borderline for me. I'm like, what? How do you even function as a human being with just that much kind of? I would like to see what he's like in his day to day life because if any of that kind of carries over, I mean, I hope it's all game for him and it's just made him into this very sloppy, unpredictable player. But I mean, because it's too much. Like that's it's insane.
Hi, Anna. Anna says, I told you guys after that Kyle J conversation last week that Kyle's game would blow up. It was really a sign for what was to come. Absolutely. And I was saying that Kyle did not handle that conversation well at all. And it was worrisome, but it was hard to even imagine that he would ruin his game so badly. Like so badly. I know that you don't actually we'll save it till the end and we'll have like kind of a spoilers a little bit. Not super spoilers, obviously, because it's just the vote. But yeah, he seems manic. Absolutely.
It's
It's
very borderline, trust me, because I know some people who are, but yeah, it's very borderline.
Hi, Jess. Oh, thank goodness you guys are live. Yes, I know a lot of people are going to be watching Survivor right now, but we just wanted to pop on right after the episode, take this down, and then go and watch Survivor right after. So thanks for joining us, Jess, to rant about this guy. Yes, exactly. Well, he's just it wasn't the right way to handle that, and I knew it was indicative of something. I just did not have any idea that it was going to be as chaotic, messy, out of control, no nonsensical, like
But
almost cruel.
it's the power though, because I mean, like I feel what I had seen and was maybe some poor decisions or like handling things inappropriately, like you said, but not anywhere near this level. Like it's I don't know, and it doesn't seem like it's like affecting him like in a stressful way. It's just making him do all of this. I would love to see beyond this what happens next week if he kind of like falls out. I mean, and I know he's in trouble, but if he kind of falls out of that type of behavior and or if that continues and it gets worse. Very interested.
I'm definitely interested into what will happen after the power. So I think also just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying there, I think the power also is confusing what his position that he thinks in the house because at the beginning of his reign he says I'm in excellent position. I have this group going on, I have this group going on, and I have this group going on, and I have 3 people that I don't have anything going on with. So if that's the case, then those are the 3 people that you kind of shuffle around with your nominations and renom if necessary. That's just what anybody that was in Kyle's position should be doing. Not necessarily going to ruffle anybody's feathers because they're not any of your direct alliance members. Should be fine. Everybody would be probably okay with that. And so the fact that he started off his head of household reign in probably one of the better positions in the house, and then he gets the power. And with that power, everybody keeps on telling him what he wants to hear, saying that, oh my God, this is such a great move. Oh my God, you'd be legendary. Like they are bowing down to the king because they're scared that he's going to take one of them out or put them on the block. So everybody can't fully be honest or transparent with him because he's not acting rationally and he keeps on blowing things up that he shouldn't be blowing things up. Like him and Moose knew each other from before the game started. That should be more than enough reason to at least try to get to jury with that person. You know what I mean? If you don't trust him, then maybe take him out after that. But if I knew anybody, even if it was my mortal enemy, I think that I would do my best to work with them at least until jury, because that's somebody that I know outside of the game more than any of these people that I don't know at all.
And like his reasoning that I saw on TV was the fact that he's just such a good liar and is able to do this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, but that's the enemy, that's who you keep close and weaponize that, especially when they want to work with you. And especially this early in the game, I just was like, this is insane. And I'm not a Moose fan, but I can appreciate, especially in this episode, the struggle that Moose had to go through and, all of the success of kind of Moose's journey.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Jess just asked me, do I remember what card was pulled for Kyle? So the card for Kyle is the Knight of Swords. And so when I was learning tarot, we kind of gave all the court cards celebrity character like people to kind of relate their energy to, or the card's energy to. So the Knight of Swords is Kanye West. Like that's so similar to me, with this like chaotic energy that like just takes shots and says things without actually thinking about the repercussions afterwards, doesn't think too far in advance, like just really just anything that comes to his mind, he just goes and just like says it, does it, performs it, acts it, which is great in his creative life. You know what I mean? I think that he's very creative, he's very talented within, music and even fashion. But like with how he's handling right now, Kim and Pete, like all that stuff is very Kyle Moore type energy. So that's really interesting. I'm loving learning how to read cards for reality TV because it's very new to me. I can do it with a regular person having a regular reading. That's easy. But like seeing, now that I know, if I see the Knight of Swords, I'll be like, don't pick him on your draft team, guys. He's going to be a mess. Hot mess. Oh my God, that's wild. Can you handle another Marty head of household if he wins it? No, I cannot.
I mean, the good news for Marty is that this really, for me, overshadowed, kind of Marty's HOH. It was like, you don't even think about that anymore.
That's true. That is true. Did they say this episode or last episode? Who did you vote for anybody at all for Canada's save?
No, I don't vote for Canada's
Who
save.
would you have voted for anybody?
I definitely would not have voted for Marty. Probably not yet, because I don't really have a feel for everyone or care enough about them. But midway through the season and kind of knowing their place and stuff, definitely.
Absolutely. Oh my God. See, yes, Jess, it's wild. It's wild. That card is wild. She's so Kanye. Accurate. I know. I didn't think to read that card like that. I mean, I want to go back and listen to what I actually said. I probably did mention that it is a Kanye West energy, but I did not know it was going to play out this way. And so, that's very, very cool. And the word vomit to anyone in earshot. Oh, poor Kyle. Yes, Kyle says a lot of things like, I don't know if it was on the episode or in the feeds, but he's like, oh, from now on, I'm going to be holding my cards closer to my chest. He'll be telling people this. And I'm like, if you're gonna do that, you don't tell people that you're doing that, because then they're gonna be like, well, what is he not telling me? Like, what are you keeping from me then? If you're gonna hold your card, tell me that you're gonna
Yeah.
hold your cards closer to
Well,
your
what
chest.
most successful HOHs are good with is having that confidant, like someone that they really run everything by. And I don't know if it's happening or not, but I have not seen that this episode. And if Gino's your confidant who doesn't talk, I mean, good luck. But so yeah, I'm really kind of like, who is that person for Kyle? Who does he go to and like say stuff
It
with, you
should
know?
be Marty and Gino. It should be. Those are his two closest allies.
Mm.
His number one is Gino. Like, that's,
And
they
he
want to
picks
go final
himself. He
two.
just goes in that room and talks to himself.
Yes. And yes, Jess, this is now the Kyle Moore card. I completely understand the energy of the card now. And like, oh, let's see if I can find it quickly. Um, it's such a chaotic card when you even like take a look at it. Um, it's so crazy too, is that he was in a position where I think that he could have maybe won the game, because he was liked by everybody. It seemed he was in a good position. Canada voted him in, so potentially he might win some Canada power if Marty wasn't in the game. And so I really did not think that he was going to sewer his game so completely so quickly. Like, I could never have really predicted that, but now if I see that card, I
Yeah.
will.
If he just didn't score that 24 in that challenge.
I know. Wouldn't it have been amazing if Josh had won that? Or Betty? Either of the two of
Betty was
them.
close. Yeah, too. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. It's the last card. So that's what the Knight of Swords looks like. Chaotic. Chaotic. Thoughts running wild, just like charging forward without like a real direction or intention.
Trees in the background, the wind's like blowing, and
Hmm.
you're just, you know, going
And
towards
knights
it.
are also teenager energy. So teenagers, like, they don't listen to authority. They do what they want. They're just super headstrong. Like, their way is right no matter, don't listen to reason. So this is definitely, that's the Kyle Moore card from now on. Absolutely. Check, check, check. Okay, so let's get into this episode. I can complain about Kyle all day,
Yeah,
but
we'll
we might as well.
complain throughout. We'll complain throughout as we do.
Yes, absolutely. So Moose is pissed, and rightfully so, because a lot of people think that they're playing with rational people that are going to do what's best for their game and play to win, right?
You would
So
assume. You would assume.
everybody's been assuming this,
Yeah.
especially Moose being like, I was lying so that I would protect you, Kyle, when you called me out. And he's like, to pursue doesn't equal 5. Like, it doesn't, like, none of these things make sense. And like, I feel so bad for the people in the house, because imagine being in a house with somebody playing this game for real money with somebody like Kyle.
Oh, I mean, you have to take them out immediately. Once that kind
Oh,
of rises to the surface, it's like you're so unpredictable. People who you're working with can't trust you. See you later. You know, even if
bye.
it put me in a bad position as far as numbers, I would get rid of you right away. It's too unpredictable.
So we see Betty celebrating in the storage room. And as much as I like Betty, she's not really giving me anything. Like, I did vote for her and Josh because I just wanted to mess up the, hopefully take away people that would be easy for him to put up. I didn't realize that I didn't need to do that because he was going to do that himself. But I wanted to make it a little bit more difficult for him. So what do you think about Betty's game so far? I know you're saying that you don't really know anybody that well yet, but
Yeah, but I mean, Betty like doesn't impress me a lot. We saw in this episode, as we'll get into it later, her performance level. It was, and just to skip ahead just a tiny bit, like if you're putting a puzzle together and there's like one spot empty and all pieces have at least 3 or 5 spots attached to them, and you've left several one pieces or
it's
two
never
pieces,
going to fit,
it's
babe.
never going to like start it over.
Like, we saw her like try to put pieces in where
Yeah.
like there actually was no pieces.
Yeah, and then, like and just the sheer amount of, like I mean, they did her dirty with the edit. That, like, sweat that was just and then cut to Gino, not a drop on his face. But it was like I was like, "You do not handle pressure well. I don't think you're gonna be good in comps," which is another reason why people shouldn't really be caring about you all that much. You're kind of,
Mhm.
not, on the bottom, not good at comps. I would not never worry about you at all. But, yeah, so, I mean I'm waiting to see what Betty brings, but Betty can bring more of the social, perhaps. I just don't really know how everyone fits together just yet from watching the show and not the feeds entirely.
From what I did try to save Betty as well. So I was voting for Josh and Betty were the two people that I put my votes on. Betty doesn't want to do anything unless she's in trouble. So even when she thought she was going to be going up on the block in the morning of like no, wait, when was it? I guess the morning of nominations, she was, or morning of the renom, I can't remember which one it is right now, but she was like, "Oh my god, people are already scheming already." Like it's like I haven't even had breakfast yet, and like she wasn't ready to get on it. Like if me or you were in that house and we thought that we were going to be a renom or like nominated, like I don't think we would leave them alone.
I mean,
Like
it's a lifestyle. It's like 20, you're in that house, it'd be on, and I wouldn't stop until I left that house. You know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like there was no like downtime. Like I would be thinking about every single conversation that I would have, like every single thing that I'm saying. Like I would be noticing who was
Yeah.
talking with who, whether it was for
Yeah.
game or for not. Like I would not be turned off at like I would be
And
just
that doesn't mean that you're like, "Go, go, go, Kyle." It just means that sometimes you're observing, but it's always working, you know? You're always thinking and plotting and knowing what you need to do. Yeah.
absolutely. Like, I wouldn't be like, I need some downtime before breakfast before I start pitching. Like, I would have already had my pitch ready to go. You know what I mean? Anyways, she's not a great game player. I'm learning
Yeah.
for sure. But I did want her to stay because it would have screwed. I thought that Kyle was just going to try to get Betty out. So I wanted to screw that up for him. So Moose was doing his best to protect Kyle, even though Kyle was exposing him in front of Stephanie. And I appreciate Stephanie protecting herself and like standing up and for herself and like calling Moose to come and like, you know, figure out what was actually being
Mhm.
said. But it was just such a bad move for Kyle. Like, why, even if you wanted to expose him, which I don't even understand why you'd want to expose him, wouldn't you talk to Moose first and be like, Moose, like I'm hearing all these things, like can you tell me your side of it? Like I'm thinking of maybe putting up Steph, like because of these reasons. Like I don't know. I just would have had a conversation with Moose, I think, before I would allow Steph to pull him in and have that weird blow up.
Yeah, I mean, and even if that happened without you really being able to control it, I would have thought that in the room, Kyle would have downplayed it to he was like, well, that's not what I meant, Steph, or or whatever, like downplayed it to at least one of them, and but he really didn't. He just kind of sat in the middle right there and just let it kind of happen, and then
Just
just
enamored by his Oscar worthy performance. Okay, Jonathan, you see actors every day. You see award winning actors every single day of your
all
life.
day long.
Was Moose's performance Oscar worthy?
No, Moose. Moose has. I mean, here's the thing. Moose is convincing to the people that need to be convinced, perhaps, which is good for him, and that's all we need to worry about. I mean, if I was in the game, I wouldn't. I wouldn't buy anything Moose is telling me. I think he has a lot of like natural tells, but also, um, it's just I haven't seen anything that was like super, super convincing or anything like that. But if people are believing you, then so be it. That's what the goal is. So I really don't know. I mean, to me, I wasn't like, it's not something I noted.
No, absolutely not. And the fact that, Kyle's like, Stephanie was like here and you brought her all the way down. It's like, well, Moose did not match her at that energy, right? Like, and that's actually, if you want to calm someone down, you make them come down to your level that you're having a conversation. Someone can't yell at you for an hour. Eventually, if you are speaking calmly, rationally, and
Yeah.
making decent points and saying like I'm not coming for you, like obviously you're going to bring their energy down. You can't stay up at a 10 when somebody's handling you at a 1.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's also a bad read there that it was a good Oscar worthy performance when really he just stayed calm.
Yeah. But I mean, even if Kyle genuinely felt that he's a threat because of that, it's just still fundamentally doesn't make sense. I'm like, he's working with you. It's very early. There's a lot of people in this game that can get you out if that he can turn. So no strike when the iron's hot is the saying, right? Like that iron was ice cold. Like don't touch it. Like what are you doing? It's like no.
I still don't even understand what the rationale was for putting up Steph. I still don't even understand that. And I still don't understand what he is framing Moose for. Like, I still don't even fully get it. But if it's because he lied for you, Kyle, then I guess having somebody on your side that is willing to lie for you is something that is dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking the whole episode, is that it encourages anyone who's working with you to really take a second and third look at that situation, and not want to do that anymore, perhaps. So
Not want to work with him for sure. It's such a liability. And I tried to say Betty too sucks at the game, but has a great read on the game. It's weird. Yeah, sort of a great read, I guess. I guess. Uh, Not impressed. No, Jonathan would not be hiring Moose, I don't think, for a gig. Kyle said that Steph got caught in the crossfires when in reality Kyle shot her. Yes. Yes, and that was similar to what Frenchie was doing. He was making all these big promises and blowing up things, and then he'd go and solve the problem, be like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that the veto is gonna be used on you, or like try to fix the problem when he was the one that caused it. So similar kind of chaotic energy. He's being compared to, so the terrible HOHs that have happened in Big Brother Canada are Cindy with an S, when she took out Netta in that, I don't remember, it was a double eviction or like instant eviction or whatever it was. So that was a bad move on her part.
yeah,
And
but I
she'd
still loved
already,
it. I still
hmm?
loved it. I still loved it. I
I
was like,
mean, you were a
oh,
fan, but I was not a fan of that move at all. I thought it was bad for a game. For a game.
it was, but I still liked it entertainment wise. I don't find anything Kyle's doing entertaining.
Interesting. Okay, that's good to hear, because like it's hard to tell what people that don't watch the feeds are as perception, because I'm just like, can you tell that his game is terrible without seeing how many times he actually went back and forth in 24 hours? Also, Ryan's head of household is also deemed as one of the worst. Yep.
Yeah,
Who else had a bad one? Oh, and what was the guy's name? Zach, from BB3, when he put up his own alliance member, Jordan Parhar, and um, took out him. But there was a twist that kind of came in. I can't remember what happened. But so
yeah,
those are like Rob is a podcast. Terry was talking about that yesterday on the roundtable, and I was like, "Yep, these are all pretty bad." And then in the States, offhand, I can only think of Devin and Frenchie, but I'm sure there was other terrible head of household reigns.
yeah. I mean, I don't keep them locked in my head, but yeah, I mean, it's Kyle's one of the worst, and he wants to be remembered, and so be it. He will be.
So Anna says Kyle makes everyone insane, which is why he's entertaining. Do you know what? They haven't been showing enough of people's reactions. Like they showed Helena's eye roll and like her face, whatever that she made, and like seeing Betty make an eye roll when he's doing the renom ceremony. So they don't show enough though of all the other people talking about him, which I think would be very interesting, because some of these conversations are hilarious with like how much they're like go off on
Yeah,
how much they can't stand him.
I mean, I like chaos. I don't mind. Like, I don't care about Kyle in this game, so I don't mind like him throwing it away, and But there's needs to be some sort of redeeming quality in not him specifically, but just in the actions that are happening for me to truly enjoy it and find it entertaining. And it's just not there. There's just not a big enough payoff, because these are like moves that don't make sense. It's like, even if it's a
Mhm.
bad move and it's a big move and it would like really help the other side or something like that, I can get behind that as far as entertainment value. But I don't know. It wasn't very entertaining, other than like, what do you do? Like, I felt uncomfortable. Like, I was uncomfortable. I was like, what are you doing?
Well, and what are you thinking about? Like, what is your strategy? What is your thought process?
Yeah.
Why are you look like you're really thinking about something. What is the end goal? Why are you making chess references when you're not playing, as Moose said, chess? You're playing checkers. I don't even think he's playing checkers. He's playing
No, and
like,
backgammon, I think. Yeah.
no,
I don't
backgammon's smart.
I don't understand that game either.
It's easy. That's our Christmas game. So I played a lot of backgammon in my life. So um but I don't know chess. But backgammon is more uh it takes a little bit more skill than checkers, a little bit, I would say. Anyways, okay, so back to this episode. So after, it was, the timeline was not exactly what it was, but after the conversation with Steph and Moose, Kyle is so sorry that he put Steph up on the block, and that he wants Steph to stay. And I'm like, so you put Steph up, you have this big blow up, and now you put up Moose and Steph. Now you want Steph to stay? Like, what? Okay. And then it's going to come back around to Betty, who was your original target. Or if you wanted Moose to be gone, you should have backdoored him, even though he said he didn't want to do a backdoor this early. He thought that would be terrible for his game.
And the other thing, I can't even pinpoint where this is in the episode because it's just chaotic. But the other thing he does is he just tells people like beforehand that he is going to put them up, and then like he did that with Betty, and like
then doesn't
super early. So it's like, I can appreciate you telling someone beforehand, not blindsiding them, but then it's like, then when you don't, you might as well have done it anyway because they're going to take it as such. Like they know that they didn't convince you not to. It was just something else that had nothing to do with them, and you will do it next time. So,
well, and the fact that like you don't even care to say like, okay, this is what's happened. Like, I feel as though da 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 da. Like, let's work together. I don't want, like, at least use not putting them up on the block as a way to maybe make them guarantee something from you. Like, get something locked in if you're not going to put somebody up.
but he doesn't do that. He didn't even do it with Marty. Like Marty's like, why isn't he asking my opinion? Like even if it's like you're feigning it, like even if you're like, I don't really care, but I want, it's Kyle does none of that. Like no moves that he's making are really genuinely better for his game. Like they're not building anything, any relationship or anything. It's just taking him down, taking him down, taking him down.
It's like I don't have no words because it actually, none of it makes any sense, and he still thinks that he's doing something good, and I'm just like, yes, Natalie agreed. Fessy's head of household was a mess. He ruined that season, I think, for me. Like it was just such a bad move, bad time. Well, his move and also Caitlin's move that season was also bad. Putting up Swaggy when Swaggy was not coming for her. That was bad too. Right now, they know that they were an option. Exactly. Sorry. Right now, they know that they were an option. So you don't want people to think that they're expendable, because then you might as well put them up and take them out because you don't want them in the game. So you haven't done, like, Betty doesn't care that you didn't put them up. It's that she was an option, that you didn't care whether she went home or not. And so there's no way to build that fence back with her if you're not going to do anything about it. Yeah. Like if you want to make nice with Betty, you have to talk to her and make a deal.
Yeah. And I mean, and like, I don't even know why we're targeting Betty. It's like, Betty, like, she's not doing well. So it's like, why are you even like, well, it's a win, but it's it's not a big win, but it's still a win. I'm like, is it a win? Is it really a win?
Well, it's because he was in so many other alliances, right? So he has the Savage Seven. Then he has the Retreat. Then he has the Boys Alliance. The only people not in any of those three alliances were Betty, Kevin, and Jess. And Betty was already nominated, and so was Kevin, I guess, week 1 by Herman. So, and Jess was also nominated. So those were three people that
Kevin would be, much stronger of a player, and like, so I don't know his like wins, and I mean he's just turning people against him anyway. But I was just like, Betty is like would be so low on my radar. Like I wouldn't.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't even like consider putting Betty up. I would tell her, I'd be like, because I really trust you and want to work with you. But I mean, it would be because I don't think she has any agency.
Just as, I mean, he already put up 2 people in his alliances. What's a few more? I mean, if he could put up everybody, he probably would give it a go. It's just so dumb. Okay, so Herman hears, this was also very strange. So here's a rumor that that Moose was planning on putting up Herman and Tanisha. Now this is Moose's chaotic energy coming back to haunt him a little bit. I think he did say it. I didn't see the shot of him actually saying it, but he probably was something like, oh yeah, like I don't care. Like I would put up Tanisha and Herman. Like I don't think that he actually meant it. I don't think that he would actually do that then. I think that he would be loyal to these alliances. So, but I think the way that he kind of tried to backtrack out of it wasn't good. What do you think of his lies here? His Oscar-worthy lies?
I mean, I don't know what other option he had. I
Definitely lie,
as
but
as I was like, hearing it, I'm like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna buy that. But I mean, and I will forget this later, so I'm gonna say it now. But it happens later in the episode, I think. Herman has one of the best lines. I decided to just write down lines today. Um, his bro, I don't work for you. Like that line
it's good.
is so good. I just have
Um,
to say that. Speaking of
I,
Herman,
I really thought that I wasn't going to enjoy Herman preseason, but he's definitely my favorite player so far. I'm liking him and I'm liking Kevin because they are both thinking about the game and they're trying to do the best that they can with the pieces that they're playing with. And so I'm enjoying their game so far the most. Do you have
um,
any favorites so far?
uh, I'm just gonna list off one last line that I wrote down,
Go
and
for it.
this is my favorite. I'm dumb, not stupid. Like,
It's good. It's good. I remember a lot of people retweeted that on the feeds,
I was like,
on Twitter.
yeah, so good.
But it's different. What's the difference between dumb, not stupid?
Stupid is knowing and not and still, doing the silly thing, and whereas dumb is like being you can be blissfully unaware. So when you're doing something, it's out of ignorance rather than out of stupidity.
Yeah. Oh, making it like being gullible or being like hearing what somebody wants you to do and you just kind of
I mean,
following along
dumb
with
is
it.
really like an intelligence level. So it's like if you're naive or unaware of something or can't comprehend it, you can be dumb in certain situations. We all are in certain situations. It's not a nice word, but it's like we all are in certain situations and with certain topics and things like that. Stupid is like an action, and that's like something that you've done. So it's when you should know better,
Great. Okay. Wait, so when you should know better. So okay. Thank you, Helena. And thank you for clarifying that for me. um so they talk about Moose does tell Herman though that Kyle thinks that he's the number one player in the house, and I love that Herman says that don't tell anybody else that because like you don't want people thinking that you're the best player in the house, that you're number one player. So I do like that he recognized that and just was like
Yeah.
kind of joking about it. So check mark for Herman there. He has a lot to lose because he's also in both the retreat and in the Savage Seven and in the Boys Alliance. So he's in all these alliances with Kyle. And so for them to all blow up, that means all of his games are being blown up, which is
It's a fine line, and there was a point in today's episode that I was watching, and I was like, "Oh, that's a lot of work for you." And I'm surprised I'm not seeing little clips of you being more upset about how much work you're having to put in to just have that balance because of Kyle, this week. So
he does lots. Like he's like talking to everybody. He's trying to like get everybody together and like he's picking up these pieces. Poor guy.
yeah,
Poor thing.
a lot of work from.
So Kyle talks a bit to talks to Moose about his Oscar-worthy performance, and Moose is just like, "What are you doing, bro? Like, I never was gonna come for you. I know you outside of this game. I was trying to protect you." And Kyle just will not have it. Mm-mm, mm-mm. He's still gonna put him up. It's just like it's so dumb. All of it's dumb, dumb, dumb. So Gino and Kyle playing chess, and Gino's just assumed that he's like, so if somebody wins the veto, we're not going to use it, right? Which is normal because like you just kind of want Moose to go home, so like we're not going to use it. Kyle, genius, is like, no, I want to use it to Steph to build trust with Steph. Like you don't have the trust with Steph. You put her on the block and she's
Yeah.
in your alliance. Like
It's
she's gonna
creating
say
problems to solve them is not going to work. Okay.
not at all. Not at all. And so he's going to replace with Betty. That will be who he's going to replace with Betty. And then I think he said send Betty home, or I don't even know if it's send Betty or Moose home, but
Yeah,
no,
he said Betty because I think that's when the whole like, well, it's a win, kind of a thing. If anything happens. So.
so you're going to blow up your alliance to still send Betty home. It's just like, it's so inane. So Josh asks Moose to play for him, and then this whole story comes out that wait, what was the story actually with Josh? Oh, was it the Tanisha Herman story? Anyways, like I just felt whatever Moose was saying to Josh to try to make him like play for him, like Josh wasn't buying it. I wasn't buying it. Moose isn't a great liar, in my opinion. And I can't believe that I thought that Moose's energy was going to be too much when it ends up being Kyle's energy that's too much. Like Moose seems tame in comparison to Kyle. Very tame. So Josh isn't planning on using it, but Moose is going to be picking Josh for the veto, with the hopes that Josh would use it. But Josh
Because
says
he
no,
said he
no,
would,
no.
but he's not.
Yeah, but he's not planning on it. So they get the players pick for the veto, and like the dramatics that Kyle had was like, who wants to pick? Like I was just like, mm-mm. I'm not buying anything that you're selling, Kyle. You're annoying.
He did it for
But
his HOH room too. I can't stand it.
it's so annoying. Was it in the episode? I think okay, it was in the episode. I put it on Twitter. Was like when he was showing his outfit from last episode, and like you just see everybody is like, ugh. But like they're just so like into it, but like you know that they're all rolling their eyes. It's so funny.
And here's the thing. Let me make a little statement here. People online are talking about how it didn't look good. It wasn't the greatest. It's Winners, people. No one's going to Winners to get like fitted anything or for their latest styles or I mean, it's valid clothing. It's great. It's budgeted more for people who can't afford full retail price for things. But at the end of the day, it's also Winners. So I mean,
For
it's
our
like
American friends, TJ Maxx owns Winners, so it's going to be similar to TJ Maxx. They bought it in like 1990, so it's going to be like name brands for less. I think is what their slogan is.
yeah, but it's not. It's not.
It's not the name brands that you'd
Yeah,
see in the store.
yeah,
It's like what didn't like. It's like the buyer got fired for
yeah,
that season, and like, they're like,
exactly.
oh, I don't think we can sell this, so let's give it over to Winners at
Yeah, yeah,
a lower price.
exactly.
I just love TJ Maxx. No, I like TJ Maxx too. I definitely find stuff at Winners. They usually do like some like home goods and stuff like that. There's another store, Home Outfitters, that is like
Yeah,
attached to it.
but it's one of those things where you like might. I mean, I don't go shopping there, but it's like you can find a piece, perhaps, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like you're not. They're not being styled by some upscale clothing store. So I just have saw it online a lot where people are talking about how bad the outfits have been. I'm like, maybe you don't know what Winners is. So
You can definitely find some amazing stuff, but I don't know if you can find like, an outfit that would be amazing for
or
everybody that's in that
TV,
house.
you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like TV worthy kind of like
But
look.
that
I'm like,
somebody
well,
else is picking for them as well. Like he might pick something completely different than whoever the Big Brother Canada stylist is, or the winner's stylist, sales associate, whatever. Okay, the work that Kevin is putting in this week is being slept on. LOL. I hope they show it in tomorrow's episode. Me too, because Kevin is putting in a lot of work. We'll get to a little bit about what Kevin is doing that's been pretty great just at the end of this little recap Peru. I do love Kevin. I'm happy that he's an Aquarius. I'm liking his game. I'm good with this so far. I thought I was going to dislike Kevin, and I don't, which is great. Yep, Kyle doesn't even know who he wants to send home. He's annoying. He's so annoying. Good King calls is a salesman. He's not a car sale. Like he would never be able to do that because nobody would want to buy the car from him and be like, oh my God, get this guy away from me. He's so annoying. He keeps on like changing his mind on like what prices or what deals he's giving me. All right, so we get the player spin. Steph gets house's guest choice. She chooses Gino. Kyle, he's so annoying. Oh, I say he's so annoying. I'm like, what am I writing there? Moose picks Josh and Kyle picks Betty, actually, which is great for Betty that she gets at least to protect herself when she knows that she is a potential renominee.
I have a question about the wheel. If
Mm-hmm.
it lands, I'm surprised that they don't have little things that they can put in, like when a name has already been picked, it just says a new wedge is like house guest choice. Because I saw when like someone was already picked and they spun again, their name was still available. I'm assuming if it lands on there, it's an automatic house guest choice, or is it a respin?
I don't they never really clarified that. I did not notice. I didn't look and notice. So Jay and Melina are still on the board?
Yeah, it was whoever got spun first was, and then
Oh, like
picked,
that.
and then they were like, and then their names like, whoever, just pick a person. Who cares? I can't even remember. But it was, their name's still on the board after they're already standing up because they're going to be playing. And I was like, I'm surprised they don't make them put a little wedge in that just says an extra like house guest choice wedge or something like that. But just a little observation. I was just curious if you respin or if you automatically get house guest choice. I
It's
was just
probably a respin that they don't show us.
Noah. Yeah.
That's my guess. So we see Herman talking to Summer, which I thought was really funny. There's many more of these conversations where they're just like, "This guy's just blowing up his own game, and he wants to save Steph, and he wants to be her savior, but like he's the one that put her in this danger." And they actually have a few more funny conversations that they didn't air, but I do like their dynamic. They're funny together. Um. I love Summer's confessionals. Are you growing? Is Summer growing on you? You didn't like her before, right? No.
No.
I love when she's like, Kyle Moore is a joke. She'd
Yeah.
rather align with a tree.
It's very Canadian energy to me. I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it.
You don't like Black Jamaican Canadians?
No, I mean I do, and that's my favorite. But I'm just saying Canadian energy, like mm, mm, I don't know. I just not. It's not there for me. It's not there for me. Yeah,
I like
maybe it
Summer.
will.
No more calls on Big Brother. Yes, and it seems like week number 4 is the curse week for Kyle. So last week, the other Kyle Moore went out on week 4, and the season before, even though it didn't air a full season, Jamar and Kyle went out 3rd and 4th, or they were taken out of the game 3rd, and he was out 4th. So far, there might have been another one. Is there another Kyle the year before? You won't
Oh,
remember.
I won't remember.
Sorry, I
Mm,
didn't even mean to pretend like I was asking you.
No,
You remember the other Kyle though with the long hair that was like had a lot of
last year
microaggressions the year before
was it the year before?
with Jamar, the half year,
Oh,
the quarter year.
no, I'd have to look at a picture.
Long hair, he's a big beefy guy. Like, here's whatever.
There's one who like had like wasn't that last year? The hair down here or something.
Last year was a Kyle Moore, but there was another Kyle the year before that also went out week 4.
I'll
Look him up. His long hair, like he got into those microaggressions with Jamar. They both got expelled. Anyway.
Oh. Hate it.
Put him up to the can you put him up to the screen just so people can remember what he looks like? Right? So anyways, he went out 4th as well. So hopefully this is a trend.
Not soon enough.
Jess was thinking that too. There are blank spots too from evicted people. So what if it lands on that? Yeah, I'm thinking that they just would respin and then not show it, just not air it. That's what I think that they would do. Okay, let's just get through this darn episode. So I love this competition. It was very fun. I thought that Helena was super cute in her beekeeper costume. Only one pun that I noticed. I don't know if you wrote that down.
There was like several.
I only noticed the one, or only wrote down one. But they're dressed as bees. And what are your thoughts about this competition, since you are our critic for comps?
Well, there was the plan B. There was I believe in you. There's several puns, but the competition itself. I mean, I appreciate the fact that it was like they're trying to do game show everything. So there was, and with that comes like a lot of different elements.
This is a throwback, though. We've seen this one before.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like they're going to always do these types of games where there's several elements to it, because
I love that.
It's very game showy, and exactly, I like those things too. But with this particular game, it's it really just comes down to the main last thing that they're doing. Like, some people, with everything else, it's like, sure, maybe someone has like a 5-minute jump on someone else, but it really comes down to you handling those balls, which I thought was also interesting too, because I personally would have gone with the middle ball first, and then tried to surround it afterwards. But
You
yeah,
got
it's
pegged.
like you know me.
Clocked.
I'm an animal lover. There's no animals in the Big Brother house, unfortunately, but
There's
um,
bees.
true. No, I do like passionately some people, but they have to earn it. You have to earn it with me. So and no one earns it in the first couple weeks. So
That's why you're my favorite because I'm always like, what is Jonathan gonna think about this one or this episode or this head of household raid? Because if you get your respect, like they're doing really well, I would say usually. So um
I mean, it's what I do for a living. I judge.
true.
Yes.
True. That is true. So I really enjoyed this competition. I love that it had different elements to it. I love that there was a puzzle. I love that there was a little bit of, finding a needle in the haystack when you had to find
Yeah.
the balls.
It's fun to watch.
Make them have to do silly by using their stinger to like poke the holes and grab their balls. Like, so there's a lot of little elements, and they're just like seeing them run around in these bee costumes. It was fun and entertaining. But the last part was quite challenging. And so it was kind of like a table, it's not really a table maze, but table game, I guess, where they had to land their balls at the end. There was 6 yellow and 1 red, or was it no 6 red and 1 yellow? Was it? I don't remember which way it was.
Oh,
Which
six
was
red.
really,
Yeah, 6 red and then one
really
yellow.
challenging. How do you think you would have done on that one? I know you say you have a shaky hand at times.
I do have a shaky hand, but those are the types of games that we kind of grew up with, like little mini versions of them and whatnot.
Mm.
So I would think that I would do okay. I mean, I literally just won a competition for like an org that you have to have really kind of steady hands for. So who knows? But like I said, I do think that you should have gone for the middle ball first
Mm.
because that can knock everything else over. And I would have done that and then worked my way from the back towards it. But like Moose was going that last
Fast.
ball, like a mile a minute, and I'm like, "You are really like well done." I mean, that was some skillful kind of, you would have thought that he's been playing that for a while, but I was like, it's big risk, big reward at the same time. So he was playing that kind of a game. So I would have been like slow but steady and just tried to hopefully beat everyone. But I mean, good for him.
I knew what the outcome was gonna be, so I couldn't really judge fully, but I was still on the edge of my seat. How were you with, like, Josh was doing really well, and then Moose was doing well, and then he knocks all of his over, and then
Well,
Gina was doing well.
yeah, I knew. I mean, normally I don't know, but I did know that Moose had won it. So I was, however, watching, and I'm like, oh, how is and Moose is going crazy with the table. I'm like, how is Josh gonna lose this? Like, I was really interested, and it's just because Moose, seemingly like really killed it at the end with like ball after ball after ball, and just like whipping through that with it, like kind of just almost on the edge, and so I mean, yeah, I could have went either way really between the two of them.
I was happy that Gino did decently well because people think he's gonna be the comp beast of the season, and people didn't expect him to do well at puzzles, but apparently he's better at puzzles than Betty. So if you want to lay in on Betty a little bit more, I
I
know we
mean,
talked about
you
her
already
already.
said it. It's like Betty's a mess. Like Betty, what are you doing? Like she was just moving. I just wanted to like walk over, being like, stop, 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 stop. Put the pieces down. Take a breath and look at what you're doing. And because you're not gonna get anywhere just being manic the whole time. Like it was stressing me out. And I felt bad.
I don't know who was having this conversation, but I believe that Big Brother might have helped her or somebody or everybody with how to put together the puzzle, because I don't remember who said it. Chat, you guys might have heard this on the feeds. Someone said got help with the puzzle or got help on the puzzle. And so I'm assuming that Big Brother stepped in and helped somehow. I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
it would
So
have been all of them, or else it wouldn't have been fair. So
so
who
maybe
knows?
they all got help on the puzzle. And maybe it was Betty that said this.
I don't know.
Hmm. I don't remember now.
Like a starting, like how would you help with that? Like this goes there, or like I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's the starting piece. Well, like, you know that you have to put in the most awkward piece first. Like, that's just kinda how you have to figure it out, you know? Like you can't put in all the small pieces. The biggest, the most awkward, you start with that one and find a good place for it to go. You're saying no?
No, I'm just saying, oh, like I was just picturing her board again and all those like one little gaps everywhere. I was like, oh, that was rough.
But like you gotta get rid of like the big awkward pieces, and you know, like the little 4 one is gonna fit in many spots. So like save those till the end so you can try to. Anyways, we know how to do puzzles. Apparently, Betty does not. So Moose does win. Betty does catch up and is able to get to the table maze part, but she was way too far behind at that point. Moose does win. I was really happy. Did you write down that Moose goes up to Kyle and says, check? I was here for it.
I remember.
Call him
Oh, I mean,
check.
of course, confrontation in Big Brother house. Yes, please. Give us more.
Check, check.
And,
Thought that
and
was
then the
great.
look, hold on, but then the look on Kyle's face, like, haha, like was just like, oh, damn it, what am I gonna do? And just like I loved it. I loved the lingering kind of shot of Kyle's face after that.
Well, and then like you see Kyle after like, oh, worst case scenario happened. Like as head of household, you're supposed to plan for worst case scenario.
Because it often does happen.
Of course
So
it's gonna happen.
yeah,
They took the head of household playing in the veto to make it more likely for the nominee to be able to win. So, like, just expect your target to win veto.
yeah,
Expect.
exactly.
I knew he said that because he said it on the feeds, but I missed it on the episode. Oh, check. Yeah, right after he won, he goes over and he's like,
I also still hate that. I'm like, HOH should play veto.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
don't
agree.
like that. You should be able to defend the work that you've done.
Absolutely, because you're going to get the blowback from it. Absolutely. I totally agree. And I think it's really lame that on season 8, they had it be the Wendy's like superpower veto or something where like the head of household could play. Like whoop-de-doo. Like that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Whoop diddly do. So worst case scenario, so they bring in Marty into this conversation, and this all happened on Sunday, I believe. And so Marty, Gino, and Herman, they are in a foursome. They're all talking in the head of household with Kyle, and they talk about wanting to bring Marty into the 7 and take out Moose. And I'm like, the 7 is done once you go against one of your own, but whatever, you do you, Kyle. Marty isn't taking it very lightly that he's being brought into things that he didn't know about, and he starts pushing Josh. What did you think about Marty immediately wanting to target Josh?
Yeah. I mean, I actually gained a lot of respect for Marty because I'm like, oh, you're still playing when you don't need to. Like, not that you don't need to because you should be, but I mean, like, I was expecting him to just not be that forceful, and Kyle was listening to him, so I was like, okay, you're still kind of doing your bidding, and it's
Not really.
and it's.
Like it took him probably 24 hours until he started listening to him. He went through other plans, but
I mean,
from
at
what you
the end
saw,
of the day, he still did his dirty work, really, and that's something that you can use later on, where you're like, that was actually what I wanted, and I pushed that to him. So, I mean, I was impressed that he was think. I mean, I like Josh. There you go. There's someone I like. So I like Josh, and I don't want to see Josh gone. But at the same time, I can appreciate someone thinking ahead and like being like, well, let's get the blood on Kyle's hands and get rid of Josh because Josh is like, look how close he's come in competitions to winning stuff and whatnot. He's been second a couple times, and who cares about like it was just he was bringing up good, valid points, and was putting the work in. So I definitely can appreciate that from that player.
but he was in the 7 with Kyle.
Yeah.
Ah, idiot. So Kyle and Betty have a conversation. He basically tells her that he's putting her up as the renom. He's like, but I adore you. I adore you. Like, if someone said I adore you when they're putting me up, I would probably punch them and get like evicted from like the Big Brother. Like, I'd be so irritated. Like, shut the F up. Like, don't tell me that you adore me, but not enough to keep me. There's so many people that you can put up on the block. Like, you don't adore me. You don't care about me at all. You don't care about my game. F off. Don't pretend.
Oh, I would definitely be called into the HOH room, and you would never see me. I'm not the HOH. The diary room, and you'd never see me again. It would be like, was it Shima throwing a mic in the pool? Yeah, it would be like one of those moments, and you would never see me again, because I would definitely, I need my own self time, and I couldn't be around people 24/7. So especially with something like that, I would have like thrown it. I mean, I wouldn't last in the Big Brother house. Let's put it that way.
When they say adore you, that's a sign that that you're going up. Oh my god, of course it is. And it's just like, oh man, I would be furious. Furious. I mean, I don't think either of us would be in that kind of situation, but
Oh, I'd be like, you can. I don't want you to adore me. You can hate me, but don't put me on the block. Like I would.
yeah, I don't
And
fucking care
you
if you
know I would
adore
say
me.
that to them too. Yeah.
I don't care if you like me. Fuck off. Okay, so even Marty thinks that Kyle looks like a fool, which I think is really, really funny. Um, so like he's like even the people that is closest to him, like one of his top allies, think that he's not doing his HOH very well. Um, but Kyle wants to be remembered as somebody in this game, and as you mentioned at the beginning, like he will be remembered as the worst head of household reign in Big Brother Canada
So
history.
I mean, if that was his goal, check, successful.
He's got it. So Herman and Kyle talk, and he also there. He wants to be a legend. It's just like chill, man. Like anybody that seeks out to be a legend and wants to be remembered are never going to be a good game player
But
because
that's what I was saying in the beginning too. It's like you have to like do what's best, make great moves, take those opportunities when they come, create those opportunities for yourself, and then that will come to you if you're lucky enough because of all the work you've put into it. I don't understand this whole like wants these young people. They want something before they earn it and deserve it. It's like crazy to me. I'm like,
oh, it's totally participation trophy.
yeah.
Like, babe, like just because it looks flashy on TV doesn't mean they didn't put any work into getting that result. And it doesn't mean that that move was considered that amazing until they won the season and you're going back and seeing all the work that they did.
Yeah.
So I don't see that there's any sort of possibility of Kyle winning the season. So there's no way that this move will ever be deemed as legendary in that way.
Agreed.
So Herman's monologue, did you enjoy this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's definitely growing on me a lot. Not that I disliked him in any way, but I was like kind of like even, but I think he's really skilled in
Yeah.
a lot of things. So
I would be keeping him close, but having my eye on him. But I would be working with him for sure. I would want to know what was going on, what he was doing. Like that would be that would be all my focus. I'd want to have a final two with him, probably.
yeah, agreed.
A secret final two. So did we have another interaction with Kyle last year with Rob as a podcast crowd? I did not have any. No, I know that they were playing Among Us. I didn't play any Among Us with them on Sundays. I played a couple Among Us games with Kirsten, but I didn't play any with Taryn. So no, I did not hang out with Kyle. As far as I know, Kyle did not ask Taryn for any tips or guidelines on how to play the game. And I did hear that when he was playing Among Us, he was always kind of accusing people of being like imposters when it just not the right people. So
Can
he
we
was
go back and watch this?
Ooh. I'll ask. I'll find out. Yeah. Yeah. I'll ask. It might be either on Taryn or Puya's Twitch stream. So I'll look it up. I'll find it for you. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe. Yes. I'm going to figure it out for us. He had such a fall from grace. BB Twitter loved him. Well, they loved the idea that they found somebody that looked pretty similar to the Kyle Moore that went on the show, but he had no idea what Big Brother was. He's never seen an episode before. So,
yeah,
this is what we get.
That's what you get. Let me cast Big Brother Canada.
Okay. Thank you. You'd cast like very interesting gamers, which would be very fun to watch. I would love to see a very strategic season. I find that this season, like, yes, it's messy. Last season, yes, it was messy. So it was entertaining from a TV show standpoint, but I get a thrill out of the gameplay of it and seeing people play really well. Like that's what I mostly enjoy about watching seasons. So I would love to get a really strategic season.
Oh, my season, I don't even know that I would announce it while doing it, but I would absolutely be looking for all orgers, like people who has participated in orgs in the past who've had that experience. I would definitely be interested in like secretly just kind of casting that and having. I mean, listen, a lot of people need to sign off on all these people, but that would kind of be my goal of like presenting people who all have that experience, because I think it's such an asset to bring into the house. And people like yourself and JoJo who have that experience, I would love and die to see you guys play the actual game. I'm like, oh, so good. So
Oh
good.
my god, you would be so like watching, you would have so much fun. If we were in the house together, oh my goodness.
The
Like
live feed? Oh my, then I would watch the live feeds. All of
of us conspiring all day, all night. Oh my
it.
gosh. Like, so I've played many orgs with Jonathan and JoJo, and like they don't, it's for basically nothing, like so for a gift card, like who cares? But like we take it seriously and like we strategize all night long. Like Jonathan just played an org recently. Oh, you don't know if you won, but I think you won it.
Well,
But
in we think I won. There is money involved. It will be announced in June.
but like he was on calls like all hours of the night. Like we take it fairly seriously. So
Oh,
it would just be fun to see people
yeah,
in the house that take the game as seriously as we would.
absolutely. Yeah, it'd be so much
So
fun.
fun. Like it would be so fun for the people playing too, because like that's what a lot of like Herman wants to be playing this game with people that can play. Kevin wants to be playing with people that can play because like it's fun. That's what's fun about it. What is the word? I'm missing it. Org. Oh,
Online
uh,
reality game.
yes.
Yeah.
And I've also played LRGs as well. Okay, so almost at the end here. So yeah, even Marty says that Kyle is a fool. He wants to be remembered this game. Herman and Kyle have a chat. Wants to be a legend. Herman monologue calls him a 23-year-old kid or whatever. That like he's not my boss. All that stuff was great stuff, and like seeing it on the feed, like you're just like you felt his frustration. They didn't do the build up as much as like watching the feeds would have been a build up for you, because like it was just so much ping ponging back and forth. So when you see Herman at his wits end, just like out there, and then he's like, okay, got to put this together and like go back in and like figure this out. Like, we felt for Herman in that moment.
Yeah.
So Kyle's not sure that he has the numbers. Talking to Helena, he thinks that either Ty, Tanisha, Summer, or Josh are his options for this renom. I'm just like, not great, not great. So Helena's basically saying, like, I don't want to guarantee my vote until you actually put somebody up there, because I don't want to be locked into something when I don't know who you're actually putting up,
And it's
which
so
is
funny.
valid.
Yeah, and it's so funny, but as the HOH, he's really kind of lost all power at this point, I feel like, because people don't usually talk to the HOH that way. They're more agreeable or some. And so I was like, oh wow, this really is showing the shift in the house of how people are sick of him and what's going on and all that kind of, and
So
all
sick.
I'm sure his antics. So I thought it was a really interesting conversation, a really telling conversation.
And then her like, "Ooh," like after like, and I'm dumb, not stupid.
Yeah.
Line. So we get to the POV ceremony, and I love Moose saying, like, you thought that you're playing chess, but you're really playing checkers. Little does Moose know how bad it actually is, but he's right on the money there. He takes himself off the block, and the renom is Josh, and Tanisha is crying. Crying, 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 crying. Like, if you put somebody up on the block as a renom, don't you want to get everybody on board with that? So the fact that someone is crying about this is like, it's just not a good sign. It's not good.
Yeah, and I would be really upset if I was the person who went out on Kyle's week as HOH. You know what I mean? It's like I would be so upset.
Well, and Josh said there's no way that Kyle is winning this game. And like, I absolutely agree. There's 0% chance. Like, his win conditions are zero. He can't win. He can't win. So that's the episode. I just wanted to tell you a few little things that are kind of going on. Like, so what do you think? So who do you think is going home?
Well, I heard that last I heard that Josh was staying. So what's his name?
So that is kind of that's been going on. Helena and Kevin are kind of like unsure. They're sort of the swing vote. Helena doesn't want to be on the wrong side of the numbers, and so she's worried about. But really, like, it's kind of like what, 4 and 5 and 4 or something. So like basically like wherever the two of them decide to go will be who goes out. So like they just need to decide. And she wants to keep Josh. Kevin wants to keep Josh because he doesn't want the guys to have any more power. If they keep Stephanie, that's more power on their side. And so it seems as though that's the case. Also, Marty had a heart to heart with Josh. Josh talking about his indigenous background and saying how he respects his elders, and that he wants to work with like older people in the house. Like that was his intention coming in. And so apparently another hockey coach that Marty works with is also indigenous, and is, you know, someone that's a friend to him, that talks about the elders and stuff like that. So now he's had a little bit of a change of heart around Josh. And so with this head of household, Marty is even considering voting out Steph and keeping Josh. So it may be a 9-2 vote where Gino and Jacey-Lynne are the only two people that vote to keep Steph, which will be fantastic.
Yeah, and although I like Jacey-Lynne, I actually don't think it like fully throws away their game or anything like that, because
Mm-mm.
Kyle's such a big target,
No, they're fine. They'll have time to readjust, and they could possibly win power. So
right, and do other stuff. So I'm not even worried about them if that happens at all. So
I
um
just love the fact that like he thinks that he has the numbers, and like he doesn't have any numbers whatsoever. So I just like
I
just
want
seeing
to
his
I want
face.
to see that moment when he
Yes.
realizes that, like when it happens, people tell him beforehand or whatever. Like I want to see that on camera. So
That on camera, and then him sitting out on the sidelines and Josh or Betty win the head of household. Like that would be just
Moose,
or Moose, Herman. Like actually everybody is going
anybody.
to get a shot.
Like
But
how could you not? Like why would you even protect him? Like it's just like you kind of have to almost. So yeah, he's in a bad situation next week.
so I can't wait to see him watching the head of household competition on the sidelines. I hope it's aired during the episode so we can see it live. So that would be very exciting if it is. So hope it's quiz or mental. So that means it would maybe be Kevin. Kevin might not take the shot at Kyle. Might
Yeah,
not.
I wonder how they're gonna do the quiz, mental stuff this year with it being more game showy. Like maybe they'll just dress it up a little bit, but
Or like have things on screens that are like flashy.
yeah, yeah,
Like a no whammy type thing, but like it'll be stuff about the Big Brother game.
yeah.
I don't know. Well, thank you everybody in the chat for being here. I'm gonna probably jump on and watch Survivor now, so I'm sure you guys are probably gonna be doing the same thing unless you're watching us and Survivor at the same time. Jonathan, do you have anything coming up that you would like the people to know about?
Um, no, keep it all. I
Okay.
mean, there are stuff. I had a nice meeting today about a new show, but I can't say it. So
Oh,
I can never
okay.
say these things, but good things coming up.
Well, that's amazing. Anyways, I'm so happy that you were here. So fun. Wait, I think you think a woman will win. Oh, that maybe Tanisha could win.
It's kind of giving me that energy right now, like a yeah,
Tanisha winning.
or just a woman winning in general. Yeah,
I think it's time. Like we've had
yeah,
3, yeah, 3 men. It's not fun. I want to change the vibe. I want to change it. I want to be a woman on the other side of the house. I'm winning right now. So that would be amazing. So thank you everybody in the chat for being here. You guys are awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, I've done a few, Natalie. Check my on my page. I did 2 talks about this new cast. Well, one about the cast and then one about the actual idea of the CBS having a show. So check those out. I did it with Chris and Drew, talking about what is going on for the CBS. What are your thoughts about CBS the challenge?
yeah. I said I would give it a shot. I mean, sure. I'm not gonna judge it until I see it, and I don't know. I might like it, might hate it. I don't know.
What about the fact that Netflix is also planning on doing a challenge like series where they're using people from Too Hot to Handle, Love is Blind?
Yeah, I mean, I like kind of like messy, things like that. And I just like the push of reality, like keeping reality healthy and, ever present, whether the show works out or not. It's the fact that they are making new reality shows as well and keeping that.
I know people thought we were crazy when we were like, "I'm a reality TV junkie." They're like, "What? What?" And I'm just like, sorry, I
I
watch it
only
all. I
work,
find it very interesting.
I only work in scripted television and film, so it's like they're
I'm
like,
an actor. I know. I get
they're
it.
like, what? And I'm like, yeah, but I love reality at the same time. So listen, as they're coming up with new stuff, great.
Yeah, no, Netflix is having a similar I don't know if there's any release date or anything like that. I will find an article, or maybe it was Gamer Vev that posted something about this, but I'll let you know, Jess. And I'll send it to you so you can see it. So and I'm going to watch it. I want to see what they're going to do. I don't particularly love Netflix's casting, so I don't know if I'm going to like it as much as MTV in general, but I will definitely give it a chance. Definitely. Well, thanks everybody. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Be part of the gang that loves talking about reality TV as much as we do. And like this video and leave a comment about who you want to win the next head of household and why. Let us know in the comments, and we will see you tomorrow with JoJo. We'll see who is actually evicted, and hopefully we'll see who's the next head of household. Bye. See ya, everybody.